Be good.
Good evening. We are opening the Needham Conservation Commission hearing October 28th, 2021. It is 7:00 p.m. And I am Janet Bernardo, the Conservation Commission Chair, and permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Artie.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Stephen.
Here.
Allison.
Here.
And I do not see Sue. So that's fine. So she hopefully will arrive at some stage. And staff, Clay.
Here.
And Deb. She was here a minute ago. Oh, there you are. You're back. Okay, great. So Sue, we're.
Me? See what I mean?
Yep. You telling me you're working?
Someone needs to.
Okay. So good evening. We are opening the meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Are we ever going back in? It's like someday. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and/or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold your name until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All righty. So the first project that I would like to take, because I'm going to mix it up a little bit, is 53 Wayne Road. My understanding is there is no DP file number, so we cannot close this hearing, but this is for a notice of intent. And I'm expecting Dan Mema.
Hi.
You
That's
can hear
me.
us?
Yep.
And is the property owner here as well?
I believe so. Karthik?
Yes, this is Karthik. Hi,
Karthik,
I'm
you
here.
Oh, good. That last name, can you tell us your last name?
Sure. Bala Subramaniam.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right.
I knew
my
that.
wife uses her name. Her name's much easier. 3 letters.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, I don't think I'm going to be able to make that happen. Okay, so if you'd like to present your project.
Okay, sure. I'm assuming you guys all have the drawing as well?
Do you want to bring it up, or would you like Clay to bring it up?
Either or. I can bring it up, I guess.
If you have it ready, that would be fine.
Okay, hold on one second. So I can just share screen, yep.
Yes.
So can everybody see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me grab. Okay, so property is 53 Wayne Road, as you know, and we are looking to take down the existing 1-story house that's on the property and build a new 2-story house on the property. And there is some wetlands at the back, actually off property, which you can see right here. See if I can draw on this. Everybody can see that?
Yep.
And then the 100-foot buffer zone comes across the property right here. This other line down here.
Right?
And so as you can see, the existing house is sort of just outside that line, and the proposed new project would cut into that by about 9 feet, I think, at its biggest point. And so that, and also obviously with the new house, we would be doing a drainage system, which would also fall within the 100-foot setback as well. And that is pretty much why we're here.
Okay, so I have a couple questions, but I'm gonna open it up to the board first. So Artie, do you have any questions?
No question. Any existing trees that are near this company?
That are near what?
I don't right now. And what trees are coming down, if any, related to this? I see some trees on the side of the property, but they may be owned by the other house next door, or is there anything? Can you tell me anything about trees? You're talking about
Sure.
the drainage study. I don't know, what can you tell me about anything that's done to date related to that stuff?
Sure. So right now, the lot as it stands, like, as you said, I think there are some trees that fall along the property line, and there are trees back along this edge, and trees along the right side of the property as well. The only tree that we're going to take down is a tree that's basically right here off the back deck currently. And that's it. The whole backyard is pretty open right now, and we're not touching anything aside from that one tree that, I don't know, might be 20 feet tall at the back of the house. The test soil, we went down, I think, I'm trying to remember how far we went. We went down about 10 feet. We hit good sandy gravel at the bottom. Everything checked out pretty well in terms of being able to do the appropriate drainage. So to the best of my knowledge, that is all as it should be. So in short, we're not taking down any trees that are affected, that are near the wetlands. We're not going anywhere near the actual wetlands, which are actually off the property. And we're not taking down any of the trees on the perimeter of the lot at all. I don't know if that
Anything
answers
else?
your question.
Artie, anything else?
No, just, related to, there's, doesn't look like there's a big topography change going on the property. The usual concern about, what's happening with the drainage from the house and making sure that's not going over to the neighboring properties and containing it on the grounds. Like the usual stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty level site. So.
Yeah.
Stephen, any comments, questions?
Just one small note. Typically we see a silt sock shown on the plan. I don't think it's on here. Is that correct?
A what? I'm sorry?
It is.
A silt sock sedimentation barrier.
There's a straw wattle.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. The 50-foot. Yes. Okay. All right. No other questions. Thank you.
Bill, you have anything?
You're going to be digging out some of the soil. I saw the test hole. You're going to remove and replace with sand. Do you spec out that type of sands coming in?
I don't know if that's been done here, to be honest. I don't.
Does it have to pass a certain sieve or anything? I'm just curious.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Does it have to pass a certain sieve calculation, or are you just taking sand from anywhere?
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that. Whatever's here on the drawing is
Okay, and then the excess material, will that be removed from the site, or?
yes. Yes.
Okay. That's all I have.
Allison?
The existing house has a deck, but the new one does not. Do you not plan to have any kind of terrace or patio or deck?
It's sort of not in the. Sorry, I'm getting like a weird echo. There may be, future like patio out here or something, but no decks are planned. We're pretty close to grade in terms, that deck that's there is only a couple feet above grade. So we're gonna kind of come down and do everything on the surface without building any more decks out back. So if we did a patio, it would be, like a stone patio or something.
Anything else, Allison?
If you did that, you'd come back to us first, right?
If that's what would be required, then I guess,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did Sue come on? No. Okay, I have just a couple of additional from that. So the tree that's coming down,
Yep.
so you will have to come back to us because you don't have a DP file number. Can you locate that tree that's coming down on the plan? If it's outside of the 100-foot buffer, it is outside of our jurisdiction. But if it's inside the 100-foot buffer, you will need to replace that tree that's coming down with 2 other trees that you locate somewhere on the property.
Okay, I'll have it located, but essentially it's right up against the deck, so.
Okay, so it might be outside of our jurisdiction,
Yeah.
but it would be nice to see it on the plan.
Okay.
And the reason you get to go first is because you did a soil test pit. So you win in my eyes. So everybody else that's following you that didn't do a soil test pit know that, that's going to be an issue. But, okay, so the tree is probably outside. And now why are the straw wattles where they are? Because they're shown on the 50-foot buffer line, which is fine. But is that the edge of lawn? It's kind of a funny location.
Again, what's not on the drawing there is a bunch of trees at the back property line. So as to why the civil engineer that we brought in put it there, maybe he thought that the 50-foot mark would be, keeping anything from going past that. Maybe that's why he chose that. I mean, we can certainly bring them closer,
Well, only, if the 50-foot line's fine, it would be nice to see the edge of lawn so that there's some, I guess we'd like to see on this plan, the existing tree and the existing edge of lawn.
Okay.
Since you're coming back to us anyway. And I think, and I did look at the test pit data, and I think from Phil's comment, they're gonna have to dig it all out to install the system. So any of that fill material will be taken out of where the system is, and then that will be put into natural soil or this coarse sand at the bottom. So I think that was okay, and they have separation to groundwater.
Yes.
Okay, so does anybody else have anything that they would like to add? Clay or Deb, do you have anything you'd like to add on this?
Yeah, there's just 2 things and I need to follow up with you, Dan, and I apologize I didn't have an opportunity. We do just need a check for the bylaw fee, and I can connect with you tomorrow about what that is.
Okay.
The wetland line, we were out and we located the flags. We agree with the wetland line for the commission. As you can see, there's a pretty significant grade change in the back where the wetland starts. There is kind of a berm at the bottom of the berm. It's a pretty clear line. We just didn't get any either a wetlands report or the data forms with the application. So we'll just need a little bit more information on the delineation for the next meeting.
Okay.
And yes, Artie?
It looks like the 50 feet back from the deck is essentially at the trunk line of the trees. Right under, it looks like it's right under the drip edge, heading about where the trunks of the trees are. That's just about where the 50-foot line would be back.
Oh, that makes sense. So that location makes sense to you?
In the sense that it's back at the very edge, the back edge of the lawn, delineation of the lawn. That's where it seems like it's what's going on here.
Oh, okay, good. I'd just like to have, it's very nice and smooth, but in reality, the lawn is probably not as smooth as that 50-foot line shows. So, you know, it's nice to protect the 50 feet, but it's also to cut off, you know, 5 feet of grass is, you know, you're gonna just kill 5 feet, you know, just, I don't know, it just seemed a little funny. Nice to make sure we're protecting the tree line particularly.
Well, yeah, I mean, the lawn, when we do the excavation for the new house, I'm sure that the lawn is probably gonna take a pretty good beating, so I'm not sure that that's gonna make too much
Yeah.
of a difference.
Oh, that's true. All right. And as Allison mentioned, if there is a patio to be added, you'll need to come back because that would definitely be within the 100-foot buffer. So
Okay.
it might be something that you want to add at this stage. So even if they don't build it this year, they might want to build it in 3 years and they'll still
Sure.
have a permit for that.
Okay,
Okay, so when you
I assume that-
return,
the lack of the DEP number is just because the state hasn't issued one as of yet?
yes, well, there's many other applicants don't have DP phone numbers either. So you're not the only one here tonight.
Okay.
So you will add the tree, the edge of lawn, the bylaw fee, the data forms, and if desired, a patio.
Okay.
And so is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this? And you can take that plan down for the moment. Thank you.
There are now 2 hands raised.
Okay, Dan, can you take the plan down?
Yeah,
Thanks. Okay, so who, you want to bring them forward and,
Yep, so I'll start with the first person. They're listed as a Sharon Turinsky, maybe. Just a moment while I bring you in.
okay, so Sharon, when you are unmuted, I don't see you yet, but you will state your name for the record and any comment you have. Is Sharon here yet? Oh, Sharon Meninsky or Sirinsky with an S, Sirinsky.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
And see
can.
me? Okay, so, you know, I'm a neighbor, but I just have a question about what is the impact on the wetlands to this? Because I'm a few houses down and it's gotten wetter and wetter in my backyard. I'm just kind of curious if there is any, or if the board is satisfied that everything is being done as expected.
So our jurisdiction is within the 100 feet of the wetland, and majority of this development is outside of that. However, what they are required to do for managing the stormwater runoff of the roof is to put in they're putting in subsurface infiltration chambers that will capture the roof runoff and put that back under the ground. So in theory, the idea of that is to replicate what's happening under existing conditions with the stormwater. So there is a lot of places because of climate change, everything is getting wetter. Some places are getting drier. But we're finding in Needham, everything's getting wetter. But there is a pretty good slope there. So I'm assuming that wetland is near the bottom of that slope. Is that true? And it's not coming like up into up the slope.
that's correct, yes.
So this project, they're definitely, you know, adding a more impervious area, but they are managing that with their infiltration systems.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, it was just a question because, you know, there's a beaver dam in the back and my property and the wetlands behind me has changed a lot in the past 3 years, or maybe I'm just home, so I notice it. So I almost have water within 2 or 3 feet of my fence. So, you know, some
Yeah,
concern when,
So they're not actually touching the wetland at all, and they're pretty far away from it. They're greater than 50 feet away. And one of our concerns is when there's a lot of trees removed, but they're only removing the one tree, and even that is outside. So it is a larger house. But we within our jurisdiction, we're not expecting it to negatively impact the wetland. So they have to come back to us in 2 weeks because they do not have a DEP file number. So they're coming back again, and you can think about it some more if you want and come back and ask another question.
Okay, thank you.
Did we answer everything for you?
You know, I think so. I wasn't really sure looking from the plans, but that was explained where the house was. And so just, you know, it's just like, what do we do as a town really when I don't know how much wetter my backyard is going to be and I don't know what's causing it. And so I had some concerns. I don't know a lot about this stuff.
There's a lot of large houses going up, and there have been, and that has been increasing runoff to our wetlands and our streams. And I think there is the planning board and the select board have been thinking more about that. The Conservation Commission is where our jurisdiction is a little bit more limited because we don't get to say how big the houses get to be. We just get to say how far away from the wetlands they're allowed to be. So they're further away from the wetlands than most. So we
Okay.
feel better about that.
Okay, thank you, Janet.
Clay, there's another person in the audience.
Yep, there's another hand. Let me switch Sharon back and bring in the next person. Just a moment.
Sure. And for the record, Sue Barber has joined the hearing. Hey, Sue.
I'm here.
Great.
I had a little difficulty.
Yeah, that's fine. And if it's easier, Sue, for you to be not on video, I was wondering if that would help your technology if you're not on video. I don't know.
I know, I might turn off the video.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've brought in Brian Kahn.
Okay. Can you hear us and can you state your name for the record?
Brian Kahn, just one of the neighbors. Just a quick comment on the diagram you brought up. I think you have the neighbors flip-flopped. I think the neighbors are actually on the other, they're the wrong direction on there.
Oh, okay.
Just list who the neighbors are.
Can you adjust that as well, Dan?
Sure, I'll look into it and check. Yep.
Anything else that you have?
Yeah, otherwise, best of luck, Kartik.
All right, thank you. And anybody else, any commission members, anything else? Applicant, homeowner? Any questions?
Nope. No, I think we're good.
So I assume you would like to continue this, the few things we've asked for, you can
Sure.
have added to the plan by November 18th, or you'll have to have it a week before that. The next hearing is November 18th. You will have to submit those to the commission on what day? Deb, Clay?
Sorry, so that would be by November 11th.
Yeah, we can, no problem.
12 o'clock. So by
1
12
o'clock.
10 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
So 1 o'clock, November 11th. And so can I have a motion? And so that works for you. And so you
Yes. Yes.
want to be on for November 18th? Okay,
Yes,
so
please.
can I have a motion to continue 53 Road for November 18th, 2021?
So
It'll be a
moved.
long night, people. Thank you, Artie. Second. Steve, did you say second?
Yeah, I said second. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All in favor, Artie,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty, see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, next on the agenda, 12 and 18 Brookside Road, DEP file number 234844. This is a request to amend the order of conditions that was issued 2020 maybe. Brookside Road, John Rockwood. I see you name, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we can hear you. Gordon Russell.
I believe I saw him actually on the attendee side. I just allowed it to promote here.
Right. And John Glossa is also,
Right here.
and you can hear us and you can,
I
Okay.
can hear you and I can see you.
I'm here,
Great.
Janet.
great. All right. Who is going to present this project?
That would be me. John Rockwood from Echo Tech. In June of 2020, the commission issued an order of conditions for the project at 18 Brookside. Because of the way the lots were set up, part of lot 12 was also included as part of that filing. So that's why it's 12 and 18, even though in reality, it's going to have an address of 18 Brookside. What's proposed is to substitute a different and larger house for the house that was originally permitted. The limit of work for the proposed project would remain the same, and all the mitigation that was proposed as part of the project would remain the same. The plantings out in the backlands, the retaining wall just outside of the 25, and the hemlocks would be moved from 12 to 18. That's actually already happened, and the stone walls already actually been constructed. The mitigation out back hasn't been done, but the house hasn't been, the existing house hasn't been removed. So basically, we're just substituting a larger house with a deck for the house that was originally proposed. Again, with the same limit of work and same mitigation. There's been additional test pits. The stormwater has been upgraded for the larger house. There's a septic system shown on the plan in the front of the house that also has associated test pits on the plan.
We want to pull up a plan for everybody to see. Do you want to pull it up or would you like us to pull it up?
Can Clay pull that up?
Yep, just a moment.
We actually submitted a modified plan in the interim. If you can bring up the modified plan.
I saw the modified plan. What was the difference?
Basically, the building inspector determined that it needs to have a 25-foot side yard setback, so the house had to be adjusted to meet that on both sides.
Okay.
That's largely what the change from the initial amendment request to the modified plan was.
And there's the property lines changing.
Yeah, they're establishing new lot lines to separate 62 from 18.
Is 62 like 12? What's 12?
12 is actually going to be disappearing.
Okay.
And 12 is going to become part of 62, but part of 12 is becoming part of 18.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so this is the project. Basically, it's a larger house with a driveway, septic system up front, infiltration system to the rear of the house that addresses both the driveway and the larger house. And again, the retaining wall behind there has already been constructed. The berm's been constructed in the back right of the lot. The hemlocks have been transplanted from 12 to 18 along that side property setback in the back right of the property. No other work has been done. The existing house still remains, the driveway still remains, the patios and everything that were out there still remain. So we're just basically seeking to substitute this revised plan for the plan that was originally submitted and approved under the filing initially in 2020.
Okay, let's see if any of the commission members have any. You're done with your presentation, John?
Yes.
Mr. Doctor. Allison?
Are there any more trees that are coming down, or is this just, it's the same as what it was before?
Just the two trees, and actually those have been removed already. There were two trees.
That was already permitted. That was already.
Yes, that was permitted.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Bill?
No comments.
Stephen?
No comments.
Sue?
I was curious how much of a larger house is it? Just the deck addition, or
It's significantly larger. You want to give a square footage of the difference, John Rockwood?
I got John Glosser might be able to do that. I don't have those numbers offhand.
It would take me a minute or two. I really don't have those numbers.
Okay, well, we're still gonna talk about it for a few minutes, so you can try to, could you figure that out while we're
Yeah.
talking? Because it's significantly larger. It's probably at least 50%, twice as big. In my mind, from looking at the plan, one of them is relatively small. It was a single family ranch, 1 bedroom, I think, almost, and then this is 4 bedroom. So it's much larger. Artie, you have anything to add?
No, nothing.
Really? I counted on you. Saved you for last.
It was 3 bedrooms, Janet. Now it's 4
Oh,
bedrooms.
it was 3 bedrooms. So I guess the one I feel like the one I was looking at just said a single bedroom, small, I don't know.
I think perhaps, well, I don't know, but this has been so many iterations, so many things, but at one point on 12, there was a thought to have a single guest cottage, but that.
Yeah, that
that's
was
on-
on the original plan. I
That was for
remember
12.
talking to you about it. Or,
It's part of the 62 plan, but 18 is still sitting there. You can see it. It's a 2-story home, 3 bedrooms, significant home. This is not significantly larger than that home.
Oh, from the existing house.
Correct.
So 1 story, the existing house, this little plan says 1 story, 1 bed, 1 bath house elevation built in same location as previous house.
That could have been what we put on that originally when we were thinking about this 3 or 4 years ago, that would be a
That's
guest.
the plan that we're comparing it to. That's the one that we give you an order of conditions for that you're asking for an amendment. A single 1 story, 1 bed, 1 bath house that was on the same footprint and it had a proposed deck. I just want to make sure we're all talking about the same thing.
That could be, but the house that exists on the property is a 3-bedroom, 2-story home.
Okay, but that's not the one where, that's already got an amended order of condition for this nice little single little teeny house that's.
Which
looks
never
quite
was
lovely.
drawn. There were never any plans for that house.
Well, it's
Really
on the
wasn't.
plan. It's on the plan I'm looking at. Sheet
But
2
they're
of
never,
2.
what I'm saying is they're never anything other than what you're seeing as a layout, which is the same footprint of the home that's there today, which is what we're tearing down.
Well, that's what we gave you an order of conditions for, which is being amended.
Yeah, Janet, do you want me to save you? Yeah, Janet, do you want me to save you? Can we, maybe it would be useful if, I mean, it seems like perhaps what we're missing is exactly what's going from what was approved to what's now being sought. I suppose I don't necessarily see that going on here unless I'm missing
Well,
something.
it's underneath,
sound-
yeah. So they were going to put a new house on the same footprint as the original house. So that, that house was at like the 190 contour. And there was, so it's kind of one. So, well, it's fine. I mean, we approve houses like this. I just want everybody to be aware that it's significantly larger than what we originally provided an order of conditions for. My other comment is that the infiltration chambers appear to be in the groundwater table. So not sure what you want to do about that. The detail shows they're having 2-foot separation, but the test pit 1 does not allow for 2 feet of separation. It basically says you're in the groundwater. So you're gonna need to fix it. Anybody have any? I mean,
Janet, test pit number 2 had it a little bit higher. I think if you look at test pit 2, I think that was a little closer to the chambers, but still it only showed a 1-foot separation. It didn't show a 2-foot.
Well, I thought test pit 1 was closer to the chambers, no? You think test pit 2?
Well, I think 2 is closer.
The re-
Well, they're about the same, but you still should use the higher one anyway, which would have been 1. But
Yeah.
either way, it doesn't show a 2-foot separation.
It says 1 says 182.6 and the bottom of the chambers is at 182. So, and you're getting closer, you push it much closer to the wetlands. So, I'm just concerned that you're not going to be able to get that separation that you are saying is on the detail. And so what do you think?
I think we should do a test pit right where they're gonna go. Instead of relying on the test pits that are,
So so you've cleared, the wall is being done and you've cleared the trees. So was it relatively easy to get a test pit in there right now?
Yes.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Because it would make me feel better to know that that system is, especially where you've increased the size of the house and the size of the system. I'd like to be sure that it's going to function as you're anticipating it to be.
Yeah, just because, and I'm not making any excuses, but if you look at the test pits, they really don't seem to make a lot of sense because test pits 3 and 4, which are up by the street, actually show a deeper water table. Then it doesn't seem to make any sense. So anyway, I'll do test pits myself, right where the infiltration chambers are going to go.
That would be great.
Okay.
Is there anything else that we need besides new test pits?
If the infiltrators or the infiltration systems have to be raised, then there'll be subsequent grading as well. And I don't know if that grading now becomes an issue within the buffer zone.
The only thing I can tell you is I did other test pits at this site, but not on this lot. And when we had the test, we had the elevation of the water table more like 179 or so. So let me just take a look at it. If there's going to be any adjustments in the grading, we're going to take care of that and let you know. But I'm not really anticipating that because I've done other test pits over on 62 Brookside, basically during high water, and was able to see where the water table was at.
Great. So you could bring it a little bit closer to the house. It's about, I think, 15 feet away from right now. It could be maybe 10 feet away from the house, and maybe that will help you be under that proposed deck, which is fine.
Okay,
that's up to you. And what is that deck going to be made out of? Is it something that water will go through?
Yeah, it's not going to be a solid deck. It's going to be a wood or a composite.
Okay.
It's not going to be a patio like stone or anything. It's just going to be wood or composite.
Great. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions about this? And Clay, you can take that down if you want.
I do not see any hands in the audience.
Any other commission members? Anything to add or from the applicant? So you want to have a chance to do a test pit and come back on November 18th?
Yes, we would. You can do
Great.
in that time frame, John?
Excuse me?
Just asking John if you can do that in that time frame.
Yeah, we can get the test pit done right away. We'll get the property dig saved and we'll do them next week.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, can I have a motion to continue 12 and 18 Brookside, which is DP file number 234844 till November 18th, 2021.
Is there a hand up? Is there a hand up, Janet?
Janet?
I'm not, yeah, who has a hand up?
This is Gordon.
Okay.
Hi, I just have a question.
Yes.
I wonder if it would be possible for John to do the test pit that you're asking and bring the results to Debbie and have this be approved administratively if those results are sufficient or adequate for you, rather than to make us come back again.
Commission, what do people think?
I would rather have them come back on this particular project.
Others agree with that? I can accept a nod or a shade.
I agree. I agree.
All right. So thanks for asking, but I guess we'll have you come back. So do I have a motion to continue?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, Bill?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Artie?
Aye.
Allison? Sue?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Okay, next on the agenda, 144 Brookside Road, DP file number 234. It does not have a DP file number yet, so we cannot close, but we can open and hear from everybody. Okay, Brookside Road.
Just to let you know, I did hear at 5 o'clock from Artie that they did get a number.
Oh, I looked at like 434. Interesting.
Yeah, I think he had it emailed to him, but I told him that we didn't have a draft order ready, so he understands that it won't be issued.
Oh, sorry. I actually meant to take Diane's first. Sorry. All right. Well, here we are. So 144 Brookside. So they do have a number. Do we know what it is?
234-0879.
What is it?
879, he said.
879. I emailed Deb the confirmation from DP, the email.
Yeah.
78 Elder. Diane, did you get a DP file number also? Maybe she, but we'll check on that one.
I had to make several calls to get it, so it wasn't that easy.
You worked hard for your number? Okay. So for 144 Brookside, Artie is here. We can hear him. And Megan Collins.
Yes, she's here.
Okay. Oh, I see her. And you can hear us?
Hi. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Great. Okay. Presenting for this, Artie?
Yeah, if you allow me, I want to share the screen real quick.
Yes, you may. And could you say your name for the record so that?
Can you see it?
Yes, Will is coming. And say your name for the record, please.
RD Chain Engineering, representing 144 Brookside Road. This is a Google map showing where the house is located. I don't think the plan will make enough justice, so I figured out at least show you on the Google map what it is that we're talking about. This is where the house is located. The homeowners are proposing to put an addition, a garage addition on the existing driveway. As you can see on the right-hand side, this is the channel for the brook itself. It's all wetland on this area. There is only one weeping cherry tree in here. Let me show you and there is a long driveway that goes around to get access to Brookside. So the site is pretty much developed. There is lawn around the house. Where we're proposing to put the addition is currently the asphalt driveway. I'll show you on the plan.
I also have photos of the property if that's helpful at some point.
Okay, great.
For some reason, it's not working. Give me a second. Okay. So we have filed, as you can see on this plan, we have filed with you guys 2 sets of plans. One was to the existing conditions that shows the extent of the property of how much is the owners have. This is the existing house. We've got a big lot that this is where the driveway keeps on going all the way to Brookside. And there is more land that they own along this stretch. We have shown in here the Rosemary Brook, so that this is the channel that I showed you on the Google Maps. The 200 feet comes outside the property. Karen Catron, she was at the site, and she confirmed that we are more than 200 feet from the brook, and she did not do any flagging because it was so obvious, but she went ahead and she flagged, and there are on the ground flags from WF1 to all the way to WF10. This is the existing driveway, and here we've got the gravel driveway. On scale 1 to 20, you can see it a little bit better. So here is the existing house. We've got a swimming pool. There is a asphalt driveway that gets all the way to the house. And this section in here, we've got a gravel parking area. And there are some stepping stones that get you to the pool. For the proposed conditions, what we are showing is that the driveway, we are proposing to expand a little bit the driveway just to allow for a hammerhead so that you can, in order to get out of the site. The proposed addition or the proposed garage is 26 by 28. There is only one tree, as I mentioned, this weeping cherry tree that is right on the corner of the garage. We don't think that that has any particular value as far as the conservation is concerned. There are no trees being proposed to be cut. Because the driveway will have the entrance in here, we have proposed a hammerhead, and this area now, instead where the gravel area used to be, we're going to have that turn into lawn, and inside there we're going to put a drainage field to get the roof runoff from the proposed addition, and whatever we can get from the existing house to get into this drainage field. Is only one chamber in there. We are proposing to put a basketball hoop in here, and this section would be asphalt. So we are adding this impervious surface on this corner in here, and this is the part where the addition is going. Also, we have proposed two other locations for the drainage field. We have another drainage field on this side to pick up the water runoff from this side of the driveway. And we have another drainage field on the other end to pick up the additional runoff from the existing house. Even though we're not doing work on these areas, we're trying to get as much of the water from the roof to go into the Caltech chambers. Purposely, we did not put any Caltech chambers on the back because we got the two cesspools or the septic field on the back, and we didn't want it to make things worse or have any impact on the septic system. So we have proposed 3 drainage fields to accommodate the roof runoff to get as much of the roof to go into the ground. Also on the ground, we were able to identify the floodplain, and this is where the floodplain is. There is no work being proposed inside the floodplain. This is a steep slope on this area in here. And the erosion control barrier is proposed to be put in at the top of the slope. There are no trees being cut as part of this project. This whole area is lawn currently. We're just putting this area in here. We have not done the perk tests, but as you can see, the house lays pretty high. The ground drops down from elevation 93 to elevation 87. So we don't believe it will be an issue as far as the groundwater, but the site is so big that if needs be, we can put 2 chambers on one location if we happen to find that one is not good enough. We were just trying not to cut the driveway to go with pipes under the driveway from one side of the house to the other side. So obviously, when the machines are there, we'll do a test pit in here to see if we can put a drainage system, and we're just talking about 1 chamber. And here are the calculations for the 1 inch of runoff. We have proposed 337 cubic feet of storage compared to 317 that would be required. And there is only 1 tree that we are proposing to be removed. We have specified what kind of sand needs to be there, and to be on the safe side, not just where we're going to put the drainage field, but we are proposing another 12 inches over dig just to make sure that the soils are suitable enough for putting the drainage field in. Typical erosion control barrier that you guys see all the time. We had the owners sign off on the operation and maintenance and agreeing that they're going to provide the conservation with yearly inspections. Other than that, everything should be there. You want me to take it down, or you want to ask questions?
Okay, you're completed. So I'll go to the commission. Steven?
No questions.
Bill?
Artie, are these natural contours, or you think this some of this lot's been sort of cut and filled, or?
I think when this part in here seems like is natural up in here, it might be that they have filled more of the land to accommodate for the swimming pool and whatever material they might have taken out for the swimming pool. Maybe they filled this area in here, but you know, it's all covered, so it doesn't seem that anything has been done recently.
Yeah, I think it would be tempting for a contractor to lose some of that fill when he's excavating for those chambers, you know, to extend the slope a little bit. So anything,
Yeah.
any details that would sort of prevent them.
And that's why we have put the erosion control barrier at the top of slope. So I don't think, in this area in here, it's all wooded. So I don't think there is any room for any material storage. Whatever they're going to be digging out in here is going to be removed offsite.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you.
Artie?
No, I don't have anything going on right now.
Allison?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Janet, but I thought they had to have perk tests or soil borings before they did the design as part of the approval.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think that is our policy now, is to have soil testing before we issue a order of conditions. Is that your comment? Sue, you have anything?
No comment.
So did I get everybody the question? So I have a couple of questions. So the gravel driveway is going away? Is that true?
That's correct. That's correct.
And the Weeping Cherry, is that within our jurisdiction? I know you said that you
Yes.
didn't think it had any impact on our wetlands because of the location, but we do have a policy. If you remove a tree, you replace the tree. So do you have a plan to replace the trees?
If the commission would like to see another tree planted, we'll be happy to accommodate. The
Yeah, I
owners
believe-
looked into saving the tree, but they asked for advice and it's too old, they cannot save it, so. I'm assuming there will be additional planting, but wasn't something specific that I can put on the plan. If you want to approve the project subject that we plant one more tree, then we'll be happy to do that.
Well, our policy is 2 trees are planted for every 1 tree that is removed. So.
And we'll be happy to accommodate with that. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
And why does one of your systems have an overflow and the others don't?
Well, what's happening is that we have on all the on the downspouts, we have the overflow in here. So if the chamber gets filled with water, then they're going to overflow next to the building. On this particular location, because it just made sense that this was an open area that you could get access to go and have it as an overflow, as a safety precaution, we figured out when they dig to put this chamber in here, might as well have an overflow rather than coming and overflowing right next to where the proposed walks will be. So let's say if we have too much water coming out and the water will bubble out on the corner of the garage in here, we were trying to protect the walk more than anything, so that if it is that this chamber gets filled with water, it's going to overflow in this direction rather than overflow at the corner of the building.
So I think that, I guess, at least in my opinion, you need at least one test pit for all these. You know, typically we're asking for you to do a test pit in every one of the locations. They're all a similar elevation in my mind, and I think you're right. They're all pretty high above the wetland edge, but it is our policy now to have a test pit done. So we need you to do that.
If that is, again, we were just hoping, we have two other locations that are more than 100 feet away from the wetlands. So even if this location doesn't work, we still can put it on the other locations.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's not the point. The point is where it is with groundwater. And as Bill mentioned, that maybe this is some fill material. And so you're going to want to document what that soil is beneath those test pits and where the groundwater elevation actually is. I think you're right that it's going to be high, but where we are our policy now, because we've had people complain and it's kind of hurt us in the past that you have to do the test pit before we give you the order of conditions. Does any commission member have a different opinion than that? So can you get a test pit done in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Great. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions or comments regarding this project?
I don't see any hands.
Any commission members have anything else to add? Are you okay with asking them to do another test pit before we close this hearing?
I mean, if it's possible, we can close the hearing and then we'll provide the documentation to you guys before you sign the order of conditions. We'll avoid for having to go on another meeting.
I think we should be consistent with whatever we do.
And the first 53 Wayne Road, they did their test pit, and 12 and 18 Brookside are going back and doing another test pit. So I think I think you have to do a test pit. It's kind of like the consistency going on here. So would you like us to continue till November 18th and you can get the test pit done in the meantime? Do we need anything else for this applicant? I think, and you're going to show us. So the policy is, Deb, what is the policy for the trees? It's one tree.
So it's 2-to-1 replacement. I think that they were thinking that way because it's kind of a landscape tree. So I think that's probably why they were looking at it, that it wasn't an important tree to us, I'm guessing.
Is that true? Is that how we look at them?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just
okay.
Assuming that's how they were thinking of it. But it's a 2-to-1 replacement.
2-to-1.
Actually, I have one more question too.
Yep.
I couldn't help but notice the basketball net hoop. Is there any fence behind it? Because that ball is going to go down into the wetlands quite often. So is there any netting of basketball, or I'm just asking only because if you need fence posts or anything else, any more excavation within that buffer zone.
No, there won't be any fence or anything like that.
You may want to consider it. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
You're chasing that ball.
We may move it to the corner of that pump out is move the hoop, and that would avoid the problem.
I have no other questions. Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Homeowners, you're understanding where we're at? Okay, so I'll take a motion to continue. This is DP file number 234879, continue till November 18th, 2021. A motion.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Stephen.
Second.
Thank you, Artie. All in favor? Bill,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Stephen.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
See you
you.
in a couple weeks. Okay, 78 Elder Road. This is for a notice of intent. There's no DP file number unless, Diane, were you able to get one?
No, we were not, unfortunately.
So close.
Sorry.
Okay, so Diane and Michael Trematozzi.
Trematozzi? Yep.
I was close, Trematozzi.
Yep, I'm here.
You're here and you can hear us. Great.
Yep.
He's here.
Okay, and so you are ready to present. This is a notice of intent, and again, we do not have a file number, so we can open the hearing, but we will need to continue it till November 18th.
Okay, yes. Okay, so Diane from Field Resources. Again, I'm here for Michael Trematozzi, who is the owner of 78 Elder. Can I share our screen with you all?
Yes, you may.
All right, so we're going to start with the town GIS map, and you can see here, here we are.
I don't see it yet.
Anything right now.
We don't see it
Okay,
yet.
let me go. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Let me go back.
Story of my life. Hitting the wrong button.
Okay, why? Am I allowed to share, Clayton? Because it's not showing the share button.
Yeah, it should be available at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, no, it's not showing it. I say participants. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. There it is. Okay. Sorry.
Yep. Okay, now it's coming.
There we go. So 78 Elder here. It's again, it abuts Herd Brook, and we have this town GIS map doesn't quite show all the vegetation because the natural vegetation, and I will talk more to this, but this section is kind of a new growth area right behind the existing shed. So that's basically, as you can see, I just want to kind of show how there's a substantial buffer between Herd Brook, the buffer, and the existing house. And again, that will come up a little bit down the road here as to our application. So we have the existing conditions. We have the existing house with a driveway, which is at a lower elevation. We have the dark green, which is that natural vegetated area. And then we have the lighter green, which is the lawn area within the inner and outer riparian and the buffer zone to the wetlands in Herd Brook. We have an existing shed. And again, a portion of the yard of the locust boundary is outside of even the outer riparian. So let's move on over to the proposed conditions that we'd like to present to you this evening. So the proposed house is moved closer to Elder, further away from Herd Brook and the bordering vegetated wetlands. Michael has done some work on the lot, not realizing that it was within your jurisdiction. And the trees here that are marked to be removed have already been removed. Again, he was unaware that that he was within your jurisdiction. So with that, and Janet, I do have to say, we not only have our perk test, we also show the edge of lawn. We also show the tree replacements.
Yay! I should have taken you first. I didn't see your test pits.
We should have won the prize, but anyway.
You should have, yes.
So we have the proposed trees in the back here. And again, we planted them within what we're calling naturally vegetated area, but it's a new growth. So we'd like to add the trees within that area just to beef up that naturally vegetated area. Because again, right now it's all low growth and new growth.
So I missed, where did the trees come down?
These red markings
They're
here.
down. They're gone. Okay.
They're gone. Yeah.
They're being placed back there.
Yeah. Additionally, Michael has already removed the shed, but it's the pad is still there in the back. And again, that will remain removed from the lot. We also, again, we do show the edge of lawn being lined with erosion control. The proposed house, again, is closer to Elder Road. We moved it closer. Again, there is additional impervious, which we did the calculations for. Let me just check my cheat sheet. We have, we're adding 5 recharge HDXLs, 3 in the back and 2 in the front, of which we did do test pits, and we went down more than 5 feet. I believe it's about 5.5 feet with no modeling. Again, that information was supplied to you with the updated application. I don't know if maybe you didn't get that particular one.
So is it in the, because it's not on, I don't see them on the plan. Where
No,
are the?
we didn't add them, the test pits to the plan, but I'm sure you can see my screen.
Yep.
We do have them here, and I can show them to you. Let me just see.
So this was in the information. Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, again, this was added after because this was done late. But
Would
this
have won the
was,
prize.
sorry, I know I missed out.
All right, I would have given, you would have gone first.
Test pit number 1. Again, he showed no modeling, and again, it said 5 and I think it was 5.5 feet that they went down. And then there was a test pit number 2 as well. Again, this kind of came in late, that's why it wasn't added to the plan, but I can't, maybe this is the one, test pit 2. Again, yeah, 5.5 feet.
So you
both
have an idea where those are on the plan?
Yep, they are, and we have test pit number, again, I don't know how we number them, I'd have to go back and check this plan, but there's one pit here, and then the second one is up front.
Great.
Okay, again, the lot is pretty sloped from the bordering vegetated wetlands and Herd Brook up to approximately where the lawn begins, and then it kind of flattens out a little bit to Elder. So the lot will continue with the same grading. There won't be any change besides there's one little change up front here where the existing driveway is, it kind of cuts down. We're just gonna fill that in and continue that grade right through. And again, the driveway will be moved to the other side of the lot. It's a pretty straightforward application. I don't know if the commission has any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, commission, Bill,
No comments.
Stephen,
No questions.
Allison,
Oh, sorry. No questions.
what type of trees are you putting in the back?
They are going to be, there's a 2 red maple and then some flowering dogwood. I believe that is on the plan as well over here and in the write-up. If I can get my screen to work.
Artie.
No comments, and unless I'm missing something, do both left and right say proposed structure, house, existing one to be raised, proposed 2-story wood frame to be raised? Isn't one raised, one?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, it does. Proposed
What am I
2-story.
missing here?
Yes.
Okay.
We can find.
Not that that means they're going to tear it down after they build it, but
Someday.
I hope that they would catch that first. Sue.
Just a quick question. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees that were taken down in violation.
5 trees that are within the 200-foot riverfront area.
Correct.
Yes, yeah. And I have site photos again, if anyone's interested.
Good. Sue, is that it? Is that your question?
That's it.
Anybody in the audience have any, and we'll get to the photos in 1 second. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments for this?
There are no raised hands.
Janet, can we confirm what type of trees were taken down? I'm not sure if I heard that yet.
They were aprovites, actually. There was just a screen.
Okay. That's what it looked like on the,
I want to see their neighbors. Usually they're putting those up. That's why I was so surprised. I was like, they took those down? Those are the ones that
Yeah.
everybody's putting up all the time.
yeah, that's a little surprising they took those down.
It
Quite
just seems like,
surprising.
yeah, arbors.
Yeah.
These really are probably preferred, the ones that you're planting. The only thing I noticed is that the scale is wrong on the drawing, but that's relatively minor. So we have nothing else. We need nothing else. We just need a file number.
Yeah,
Is that true?
correct.
And if you could locate those test pits on there, that would be great since,
Okay, they
Yeah,
are,
okay.
yeah, I can show them on our plan, but they are in the,
yeah. I mean, just show them on the plan, the location of them.
okay.
That would be great. Yeah, you don't have to put all of the test pit information on the plan, just the squares. Okay, and anybody else, or you can take this down if you'd like.
Okay.
You know, I should just figure out how to move people over. I always have to have you take it down so I can see everybody again. Okay, so if nobody else has any questions or comments, I think the only thing we need is a DP file number for this project. So if we could continue to November 18th.
Okay. Yeah, DP isn't working with the time frame.
They are overworked and underpaid probably. Okay, anybody?
I have a question if I can take a second.
Yes, you may.
Is there any way if we are able to provide the DEP number, approach you directly to continue forward, or do we need to come back in a few weeks?
You, in actuality, you only need the DP file number. We cannot close the hearing without that. And so we cannot close the hearing until November 18th, though you do not necessarily have to come back because you've answered all of our questions. So if that helps at all, you don't have to come back.
I think what Mike's asking is if you can start the work, but I think, Mike, what we can do is you can start with erosion control, install that. You can actually apply.
So I was there today, Diane, and the erosion controls in already.
Okay.
I think the slab from the shed has been removed already.
Okay.
So I think that they've
started
moved forward a little bit.
They've gone as far as they can go at this stage.
Okay.
So, sorry, you'll just need to wait until November 19th, I guess.
It looks like Paul has his hand up. I don't know if you still wanted to add anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. Would you?
My
say
only
your name?
question was before Mike had spoke up, I think they were wondering since the project on its face didn't raise any red flags other than the natural that they're in their jurisdiction, whether or not they could proceed with demolition, although going forward beyond that would require, but Mike asked and you guys already addressed some things on that, so I didn't lower my hand fast enough.
Well, we're glad, while you're there, you might as well chat with us for a minute anyway. Okay, if everybody has spoken that it chooses to speak, we can have a motion to continue 78 Elder Road till November 18th.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor, Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Stephen.
Aye.
Yeah, aye. Thank you very much. And thank you for doing those test pits. You
Okay,
are a
thank you.
winner. I'm sorry you didn't end up with a DP file number. Okay.
Thank you.
So Street and Dedham Avenue access, DEP file number 2348878. This is a continued notice of intent. The applicant was before us a couple of weeks ago. I believe there's various people probably in the audience that maybe want to speak or at least want to hear. So I don't know if it's easier to bring people forward if it's just them. We have a number of emails that I would like to make sure are read into the record. Oh, wait, let's see, hold on. We should have Charles River. Dennis Moran, can you hear us?
Yes, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Jessica Roberts,
Jessica is not in attendance tonight.
okay. Tony Delgazo,
I'm here.
you're
I'm
here.
here. I had to turn off my video because I kept losing my connection.
Okay. And Chris Gerstle,
I am here, Janet. Thank you for having me tonight.
thank you. And you are from the Park and Rec.
That is correct.
Great, thank you very much. And so for the record, I think I would like to read these various statements that we received from various town residents. So the first email is dated October 27th. It is from Robert Stern. It says, Conservation Commission, I am strongly against this project. The location in question has been a quiet, wooded, pristine area insulated from human disturbance and litter for many, many years. There are a large number of wildlife, including fox and fisher cat, who have already been disturbed by the 3-year South Street Eversource project. As the human wardens of quiet green space and neighbors of the wildlife with whom we share the planet, we have a duty to curtail our destructive behavior. There is no need for a concrete slab boat ramp and paved parking lot in this area. People have been comfortably launching canoes from this location for the 30 years I have lived on South Street. Climate change has us all thinking about what we will leave of our community and planet to our children. Unnecessary disturbance and destruction of quiet green space and wildlife is simply no longer acceptable. I understand there is a meeting on this topic tomorrow night. Please send me the link. Hopefully the link was sent. We had many good points. It was longer, I'll read a shorter one. Second email, and there was another email that we read into last 2 weeks ago. Second email is from David Rose, also dated October 27th. Hello, my name is David Rose at 12 Livingston Circle. I currently use the access point that will be affected by the proposed Charles River Water Access Project. I am writing to offer my thoughts on the proposal. It is my belief that the scope and scale of the project is significantly more than required. The basic premise for much of the project is that residents need to have an access road all the way to the water. I do not believe that this is the case. For an investment of about $50, you can buy a kayak canoe cart. This is what I use to pull a full 2-person kayak by myself from my address all the way to the water, which is probably about 100 yards. I do not need a road other than South Street to walk my kayak to the parking entrance. Furthermore, the investment of a cart is pretty useful investment for any regular kayak or canoe user, as a tiny fraction of access points to water in this state have full boat launches. What I do think would be nice is an upgrade to the trail to the water that would make it easier to walk or wheel a cart and kayak down to the water. There is a happy medium between auto access and a bumpy dirt and mud path with exposed dirt roots. I think the town could spend about 10% of the funds in the proposed project and material improve the access to the river. The proposed project, simply put, is a gross overreach in spending. Secondly, while there is a great amount of attention made in the proposal to the benefit of emergency access to the river, I question just exactly what emergencies would be required to have auto access all the way to the river. The river at the access point is very shallow. I really doubt an extra 20 yards of road is going to make any difference to safety. What evidence can the town present that there is clear danger from a public safety perspective that needs to be mitigated? Lastly, from an environmental perspective, a massively scaled down project would do much better preserve the natural beauty of the area. As such, while I appreciate the interest in making an improvement to the area in question, I wholeheartedly believe that the commission should not approve it in its current form. Thank you for your consideration. There's a theme here, if you were wondering. The third email, and actually the fourth of all of them, because there was the one from previous, is from Ken Goldberg, also dated October 27th. My name is Ken Goldberg. I reside with my wife and 3 teenage daughters at 11 South Court. I request that my concerns about the South Street and Dedham Avenue boat access, DP file number 234-8XX, now some intent be noted in the official record for the Conservation Commission hearings on this project. For the record, I oppose this project in its current design and request the Conservation Commission deny the request for a waiver. My reasons are set forth below. In sum, I would not support this project until a more sensible approach that is commensurate with the site and that will have less of a detrimental impact on the surrounding neighborhood is submitted. One, aside from my specific concerns about this project and its scope, I wonder why the town of Needham did not specifically seek out neighborhood input. What is clearly a change in the character, design, and capacity of this access area. If there was a department or a committee meeting on this proposal, I was never informed by a written notice like the one I received from the Conservation Commission. 2, section 3.1, proposed activities discussed the emplacement of the new 12-foot wide gravel path road with a turnaround in the installation of a 12-foot by 15-foot concrete pad for boat access and a large stone revetment proposed adjacent to the concrete pad to prevent erosion and undermining. Under drains are also proposed to prevent scouring. These improvements will significantly impact the natural beauty of the area. 3, the location of river access is at the cut bank of a river meander. This is the area of maximum flow velocity and hence maximum erosion. Given that this is an area of high energy, I believe that a large enough storm could destroy both the concrete pad and revetment, resulting in even greater detrimental impact to the natural beauty of the location. 4, does the proposal take into account ongoing costs to maintain the new gravel road, concrete pad, and the revetment? 5, section 5.2, water access design alternative states that the existing path discourages launching car top boats. Why is that a bad thing? Anyone with a canoe or other small boat should be used to use portages of up to several hundred feet. Making a path for vehicle traffic could only increase the amount of erosion, further leading to the need for annual maintenance. In addition, if a gasoline-powered vehicle were to spring a leak in their fuel tank, it could lead to an environmental disaster. I do not see the need to encourage any vehicle access down to the Charles River. Any concerns expressed over the need for the fire department to access the river at that junction are, in my opinion, far outweighed by the impact this project will have on the natural beauty of this access point, not to mention the impact on the surrounding neighborhood. 6, if you build it, they will come. If this project is built as proposed, the use of this access will increase. I understand that is one of the underlying goals, but it has to be weighed against the impact of the local neighborhood and overall community. Simply common sense considerations such as where will cars or cars with trailers park when the limited parking in the clearing off of South Street is filled to capacity needs to be taken into account. They will park on Livingston Circle to be sure. That is simply unfair to those residents. 7, South Street is a heavily trafficked bicycle route on the weekends. Has there been any consideration given to how the increased traffic in and out of this access point will impact cyclists on this winding road? 8, the proposed concrete platform is of great concern to me. There is no doubt in my mind that this structure will serve as a convenient gathering spot on summer nights for people to drink, smoke, and generally hang out. This will bring noise to the surrounding neighborhood and litter to the site and to the Charles River. 9, I jog up and down South Street and I walk my dogs there as well. On any given morning, not just on weekends, the side of the road is littered with beer cans, beer packaging, energy drinks, and fast food containers. People joyride on South Street because it is a pretty winding road. The litter is nonstop. I have never not seen litter on a run or walk. This project as proposed will only amplify the litter problem, harming even further the natural beauty of that glade and the surrounding area on South Street. Thank you for taking the time to consider my concerns on this project. I didn't realize there was all that litter. That is an unfortunate thing. So we definitely have heard from the residents of the area. I think we need to take that into serious consideration. But in the meantime, if who wants to present something from the applicant's point of view?
I will, Dennis Moran with Ty and Bond. Again, thank you to the commission for rehearing this project. I don't know if you mentioned we do have a DEP number now.
Yes,
so
I think, yeah, 234-878.
So that's been taken care of. And I do understand the we'll just say numerous comments from the abutters and concerned residents. It's general theme of the project. So to give a little bit of back history, maybe Chris can fill in that this is an ongoing project that we've been working on with the Charles River Boat Access Committee that was formed prior to my involvement. And then Tony has been acting as the liaison between the committee and the engineering department, just as to carry their information based on their meetings to us for the design. I'm not sure if Chris wants to speak to the engagement and exactly why this project is, the desire to improve the access to the Charles River in this area for the town of Needham or their residents, but I think that would be
we're
helpful.
curious on
Sure.
how it got as big as it is.
Dennis, thank you very much. And again, Janet, thank you very much for having me tonight. And I apologize about the conflict of not being able to make it to the last meeting. I apologize about that. Around this time each year, both the Park and Rec Commission and the Select Board, we come up with goals of what we're doing for each calendar year. That a lot of times when we meet, we see a lot of similar goals on there. And one of those goals is ways that we can include and improve amenities that the town has. Now, it's not just necessarily fields or structures, it's ways that we can make certain new amenities out of there. That one of these goals is the boat ramp, as a matter of fact, that with the increased public that we're seeing out there, especially over the last 3 years, we're looking for alternative means to give people these extra, amenities that are out there, that including a boat launch like this would just be another, great treasure that we could have. I know that with the rail trail system that we have here in town, along with the reservoir trail, those are two of the most actively used items that are out there. One thing that we have noticed with listening to the people is that a lot of the times what Park and Rec does is that they focus on the parks and the fields, that not everybody in town plays sports. So you have to look for other ways and other avenues that you can engage the whole community. That we see something like this would definitely be an add-on to the town and give people the access to the rivers and the waterways that are in the town.
All done?
Yes.
Okay, great. That was great. So I guess I'll let the commission voice their comments. I'm just hoping that you're going to be able to make this smaller. So keeping that in mind. Artie?
Well, I mean, I can always appreciate, how we are as volunteers in town and looking to see what we can do and looking, I guess I'll say, think about what our job is. And I mean, sometimes in a town, sometimes in order to do our job, sometimes that means we don't change anything. Sometimes our job is leaving things alone. Like in the Conservation Commission, our job is to protect what we have. And protecting what we have, from our perspective, for example, is protecting what we have is that here's where we have some land going down to the river. We don't necessarily want to expand it. And again, as a local community, they're looking at a very similar thing as far as they think it's adequate. And I can appreciate, their standpoint. I can also appreciate the standpoint from the town as far as, what can we give, can we give the town as much access as possible for what for what it seems like they desire. But sometimes what's best for the town is not to do anything. Maybe we put some gravel there. Maybe we just kind of protect what's there right now. But sometimes we don't have to expand something for progress to occur. Progress is sometimes keeping things as is. That's my viewpoint right now.
Thank you. Stephen?
I feel the same way I did the last time we heard this presentation, is that one of the things I asked for was, if this was such a public safety, was part of the initiative for this project, why haven't we heard from the chief of police or the fire chief? I would like to have them come before this commission and explain why they need to have that access. I think there already is access for the public to get down there right now. It doesn't have to be a 12-foot wide road that you can back a trailer down there. I think you can get down there right now with the access that there is there. And like Artie said, and many of the people that wrote in, I don't think that we really need an expansion of the access that we already have. That's
Deb,
about
did
it.
you hear from the fire department?
No.
Hi, I did. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
Deb,
Are
yeah,
you
sorry,
talking
Deb.
to me,
did.
Janet?
Yeah, Debbie.
So I did not, I mentioned that I had talked to Tony at length about this, and that doesn't play a part in this. It's the fire and police are not looking for access to the river at that point. I don't really know how that all started, where that discussion came from, but as far as I know, that doesn't play a part in this.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comment about the fire or police?
Was I wrong I thought I heard that last time. unless I
Yeah,
was-
you heard it. You
No, I
heard it.
think it was a comment from the letter that the person had written. I think that's what they perceived. I think that's where it kind of started.
Hey, Janet, somehow I get the impression that this project is being presented because the money's there for this project. And somehow, years ago, the money was kind of, let's say, voted to be put towards this or something like this. And so there seems to be a desire to spend it mainly because of that reason, not necessarily because of a reason now.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing it right now.
Can I respond to that, if you don't mind,
Yes,
Janet? That, as you know, we actually have a new director for the Park and Rec department. Her name is Stacy Mulroy. That our former director, Patty Carey, was also part of this. So there was a little transition phase where we had our old director leaving and our new director picking up. That some things did fall a little bit between the cracks here. But any goal that the Park and Rec Commission puts on for their goals is not something we just put up there just to put up there. These are goals that we want to see accomplished, that are for the town and for the people. So we're not just going to put something up there to put it up. We do this as we're listening to the voices of the people that are out there. The emails that were given tonight were, I hear the people that are surrounding and the abutters, but we're also hearing from the people that want a project like this, that are for projects like this. So in regards to, doing it for the sake of doing it, that's not what we do for goals. We do this because we want to add amenities to the town.
Thank you, Chris. Bill?
You might have mentioned it. Were other locations looked at as potential sites that might be less impactful than this one?
I could speak to the parcel we looked at itself. There's, to my knowledge, and I don't know the town intimately, but this is a parcel that the town currently owns that is currently disturbed. And to the best of our ability, we use the existing disturbed area, with the exception of increasing increasing the width of the access path from, we'll say, 5 to 8 feet right now to 12 feet to accommodate vehicles, so that if somebody in the town does have a small human powered vessel that is trailered, they could then back that down there. I'm not sure if you want to expand upon that, Chris, at all, but
no, you pretty much, that sums it up right there.
Okay.
I'm a little torn, only that, I have a canoe and I've often looked at places to easily get the canoe down to the Charles and enjoy boating. And by giving an access point, are we increasing access, and eventually people will develop more of a stewardship to the land by accessing boats and using it for recreational purposes, and people more inclined to protect and conserve land by the connections with getting down there and using it recreationally. So I'm a little bit torn. Maybe there are other ways to just, I guess my biggest concern is erosion. If by putting a road in there over time, just seeing the rainfalls that we have now, the torrential rains, have we done enough to protect erosion from a roadway that goes down to the river? That's all I have.
Thanks. Allison?
I didn't see their presentation, but I live right near a boat ramp, that's Red Wing Bay, and it's extremely busy for many months of the year with cars and lots of people. And the question is it because there are places to park? That's why there's so many people go there, or is because it's, it's a really nice place to sort of launch a canoe or a kayak or whatever, or even inflatable boat with a little engine. So it's obviously that particular boat launch is very beloved and very used. And so having another one, if that's the only, I'm not aware of other places where you can launch a boat on public land in Needham. There might be other places, but I don't know. And I didn't see the presentation. So I guess I do think people tend to, if you don't sort of make it gravel or something, people are going to, and yet you can get down there, people are going to put their boats down there and they're going to cause more erosion. So in a way, I think that if it could be done in a limited fashion and not concrete ramps, that seems to me more like you're backing down a trailer. And I think that's, when you put something hard along a river, it creates more problems. So I guess I'm not against having access to the river, but just in a limited way, so that it doesn't create more problems. But I do think it's good to balance, human recreation and stewardship with nature. I think you can't have all one and all the other. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Sue.
Yes, I pretty much agree with you, Bob. I just want to say, in my opinion, it would be nice to use some of that money to improve the path as a path, in its existing form, but that probably needs a little work on improving the path for walkers, trailers, and mainly. But also, just wondering if there is, to expand the different areas that the town might own to the Charles River access areas in a very simplified way, like it is now at the South Street and Dedham Ave access. That's all.
Thank you. Can we pull up the plan? Can somebody have the plan?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
All right, thanks, Clay. And I did stop over and walk around the area last week and was able to pull my small car into the existing parking lot relatively easily over the curb that's there, the little Cape Cod berm. And I thought the existing parking area is pretty substantial for a number of cars that could be there. That's why I'm not really sure of the need to expand that existing parking lot or change that in any way. So I'm not really sure about that work.
So we're actually not proposing to increase the parking lot. It's more of redefining better defining the area to
Okay.
provide a raised, like the raised vegetated garden out by South Street, and then providing a defined parking stalls, even though it's gravel, but try to better organize visitors to park their cars so you can actually fit about 4 vehicles in there, so you don't have, people park crazy sometimes if they're not corralled.
So I don't mean to go this direction. However, a raised island, why would you make it a raised island? Is there any chance of making that like a buyer retention area? I'm just throwing that out there because you just threw out raised island. I'm like, oh, raised island, make it buyer retention. It maybe isn't in a spot to even collect water, stormwater. I'm not really sure, but if we have an opportunity to make it a stormwater feature, that would be great. So this 12-foot wide crushed stone access road seems really large. I walked down it. I definitely was able to walk all the way down to the river, and I can imagine maybe making it a little wider than it is, maybe making it 4 to 5 feet wide so that it's easy for 2 people to carry a canoe down that path. It is relatively steep and maybe it needs a water bar or something to prevent runoff from just flying down the slope. And there's definitely some erosion at the bottom next to the river that should be managed in some way. Having a parking space that is, or a turnaround seems totally unnecessary. So I'm not really quite sure what to really recommend here because it just looks too big. I don't have a problem with having that existing location and I don't have a problem with widening it a little bit, but a 12-foot wide to get a car down there just is really unnecessary. Oh, Paul from Field Resources, did you have a comment?
Yeah, sorry, I'm still kind of here, but I wanted to, I know I.
You're
moved out
allowed
of
to be
Needham.
here. It's a public hearing.
I know I moved out of Needham a little while ago, but one of the things I think that's being overlooked by a lot of the commenters about how this theoretically or potentially would be used is, and I mean, I see this because I have a special needs daughter and I have elderly parents and, you know, not everybody is throwing their watercraft over their shoulder. I spend a lot of time on the water. My daughter loves that. Now, if she were to try and take a, kayak down by herself, which she is now almost 22 years old, and it's theoretically a physical possibility. However, to manhandle it down to a river, I think is something that is being overlooked. The fact that a neighbor can, haul his 100 yards. Well, Jim Fix can run, Jack LaLanne swam 7 miles, pulling 7 boats with 70 people in it on his 70th birthday. That doesn't mean any of the rest of us are going to do that. So, I mean, I think some of these things are thrown out anecdotally that, oh, I can do it, so everybody should do it. And I don't think we live in a world where we believe that everybody can do everything just because one person can or another person can't. And I don't think anybody's intending to neglect the needs of those who have special needs or special access availability necessary. But I think it hasn't been brought up. And that's the only thing I wanted to kind of remind the board that they're.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, at the last hearing, when this was first brought in, we did ask if it was going to be handicap accessible, and we were told it is not. The path is relatively steep, and I don't think that it is a reasonable place for somebody that has any kind of a disability to get down to that on that path. There are other locations in town, is my understanding, and Red Wing Bay is one of them, and across from Walker School, I believe, is another spot that is a much easier access point that you can be close to, and it is relatively flat and close to the water.
Janet, there are attendees looking to come in just to make sure we don't neglect them. The attendees with raised hands.
Okay, all right. We want to, good point. Yes, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak?
So currently we have 5 raised hands.
All right.
In order that they're raised, we will start with David Rose. I'll move you over.
Okay, we can make, I don't know, do we want to leave this up or take it down? Does anybody have an opinion?
It's going to be easier.
No,
for me.
I believe.
Keep it up.
I would leave it up.
Keep it up. All right, keep it up. I've now learned how to move my screen over so I can see both. Okay. David Rose, is that what you said?
Yeah, looks like he's coming over now.
David Rose, can you hear us? And can you, great. Can you hear us and can we hear you?
I am wearing my Clay Matthews jersey for Clay. Just so you know, Clay, I'm with you there, recording the game. Hopefully you are too. Sorry for that personal anecdote. I just want to kind of reiterate the points I made in my email. Thank you so much for making that part of the record. And I appreciate the commissioner's sense of in their attitudes, generally speaking. I would just like to reiterate the point that, you know, this path is a little steep and it's a little muddy, and I definitely think there is room to make it easier for people. I also think there's room to just improve the knowledge that this access point is there, because I don't think there's any signage of any kind, and it's not terribly known. I don't think that there's an access point to the river right there, and so, like I said, Commissioner Bernardo, I wholeheartedly would agree with your view that, you know, if we can just make that path down a little bit easier, that would be a nice improvement that wouldn't be terribly disturbing to the natural beauty of the area. And I think it would be, promote the objective of what this project entails, and that is trying to make it an easier access point for people to enjoy.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, thank you for your time.
Clay, is there anybody else in the audience that would?
Yep, so we have 4 more hands. The next person is a Victor Seidel.
Victor, is that what you said?
Yep, it looks like they're coming over now.
Okay. Victor Seidel, if you can hear us and you can unmute yourself, you have the floor. Please state your name for the record.
Yes, hello. Hopefully this is working. And I'm
Yes.
Victor Seidel, SCIDEL at 56 Green Street in Needham. And just want to thank the Parks and Rec Commission for, putting this together, thinking about ways to improve our resources here in Needham, and also to the commission here gathered to look through this. Our family live not too so far away, make use of this. And so just wanted to say that I agree with some of the commission, Conservation Commission questioning the scale of things. And I'm more comfortable with the 4 to 5 foot type of access rather than the 12 wide, as it were. Really nice points about signage, helpful improvements to signage to help town members know that it's available. One question I had was in looking at the picnic area, the proposed picnic tables. I know, again, we take our kayak down there and things like that. I've seen some decrepit picnic tables right by the water that are sort of falling apart and things like that. Can anyone talk to why the picnic tables would be up by the parking area and maybe not down by the water in the little area where it looks like in the past there have been some picnic tables? That seems like it could be another way for some people to take advantage of the area. And maybe, as we said, maybe some people would like to just walk down and be able to make use of the waterfront vista that we have there. So just a quick question about that, if that's helpful, if that's possible.
Does anybody have an answer to that question?
Sure. Thank you for attending the hearing. It's actually great to see the public attend hearings. Usually there's not a lot of commenting, people that are engaged. So 2 main reasons. One is to keep the picnic tables out of the floodplain, less likely to get taken down the river during a high flow event. And the second reason, that's more the engineering reason why they're where they are proposed. And then during the development of this, working with the boat committee, my understanding is that they wanted them up by the parking lot just to be more visible at the roadway for security issues, so that the less likelihood of people spending time out there after hours. And I'm not sure if there's an additional reason for that, Chris, other than just to, try to keep people away from the river during times when they shouldn't be. But, it's not that it's not possible to sit down by the water and enjoy lunch just on the ground.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Was just curious about those decisions, and again, thank you for considering maybe just the 4 to 5 foot path rather than the wider one as part of this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Clay, is there anybody else?
All right, we have 3 more hands. The next person is Ken Goldberg. I'll move you over.
Ken Goldberg, when you can hear us and unmute yourself, please state your
Mute.
name for the record and you have the floor.
Sure, Ken Goldberg. Trying to figure out how to do the video. Can I join in video? Start video.
Should be able to.
There we go.
Oh, you did it.
Great. Thank you all for taking the time to hear the letters and some of the concerns that myself and the other neighbors have brought forward. I want to point out that from what I know, and one of the commissioners has already pointed out, that this is not the only access to the river. There are other places. I'm told there's a full boat ramp at Cutler Park. I don't know if that's in Needham, but it's not far from Needham. Sure, maybe putting up a sign saying river access might be helpful here. My sense is that people who want to access the river here can and do. There are clubs that go there on the weekends, and I don't know if they're renting out canoes or if they come just with a bunch of people, but we see them, and they have a dozen canoes or kayaks there. And, I suppose they clean up after themselves. It's really not a big deal. In other words, this is used very well by the community, in my opinion, having lived here for 15 years. That's really all I want to say. I don't need to reiterate the other points I made. I guess I have I'm triggered by litter. So I am concerned about, picnic tables, frankly.
You talked about all the litter on South Street. I was amazed that there's that much litter on South Street.
Well, it's not like a garbage disposal out there, but there are, on any given day, there's beer cans and soda cans and occasional pizza packaging, and, I pick it up every once in a while.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and picking up the litter.
Well, do what we can. No, thank you all for your thoughtful consideration of what they are proposing. I wholeheartedly agree that it should be scaled down. And legally, I don't really know what's involved, but I did suggest that you just deny the waiver and let them come back with something else that makes sense or to the commission.
Thank you. Clay, is there anybody else?
Yep, there are 2 more hands. The next person is Bob Stein. Moving over now.
Mr. Stein, when you can hear us and unmute yourself, you have the floor. Please state your name for the record.
Robert Stern, and hopefully I'm coming on.
Stern with an R? Is there an
Yes.
R in your name?
Yes. Okay, well, I'm not sure if I'm on video, but I think you hear
are.
me.
We
Okay,
can hear
great.
you and we can see you.
Great. Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak. There's a lot I could address here, but I will confine my remarks to a few specific things today. One, I heard the gentleman from the town or the park say that the town wanted to provide more amenities, and I understand that, but the question is, amenities at what cost? South Street has already been disturbed by this Eversource project for 3 years. That project left tar on the side of the road. There is a lot of litter, period, on the side of the road. I also pick up beer bottles and soda cans and McDonald's boxes. And if there is a lot of increased traffic at that area that they're suggesting, there will be more of that. If there's a lot of increased traffic there, that will be a problem on South Street. It is a narrow one-lane road. There is no path off the road for a car. There's no place to pull over. And it also is at a bend. You can kind of see it on one of their diagrams where the cars come around. They can't see, if they're coming from 135, they can't see the exit from that parking lot. It's blind. So if you increase traffic in that area, aside from the fact that South Street can't handle it as a one-lane road, there's going to be accidents there, in my opinion, because you just can't see. In addition, so more amenities for the town, but at what cost? And what about the trees they have to take out, the vegetation that's going to have to be taken out, the wildlife that's disturbed, especially unusual wildlife? I don't know if it's considered rare, but as I said in my letter, we do have.
Oops, you went on mute. Okay. We
Is that
missed
better?
the last sentence.
Yeah, we do have fox, we do have fisher cat and other large or largish animals. And they were gone while the work was being done on South Street for Eversource. They're sort of starting to come back. We have a couple owl now in that area. My wife and I walk down there almost every day with our COVID walks. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. And people get into that parking lot easily and get out of that parking lot easily. I'm not sure what the point is there. There's plenty of room for 4 or 5 cars. I've seen 4 cars in there myself. They're not close to one another. There's plenty of room. That path down there is certainly accessible to the river. It is a steep path. It's not paved, but you can get down with a canoe. I'm 64 years old. I've taken a canoe down there on a little cart. It's a little difficult, but it's not very difficult. And for folks that canoe and are used to portages and so on, that's nothing new. I'm not in great shape, and I do it quite easily. And it is disingenuous to suggest that it is already in a disturbed area. I saw that in the application, and I heard that stated today. That area, to my mind, is really not disturbed. The parking lot is dirt and stone. There's grass there, there's vegetation there, there's trees that abut that lot, there's vegetation. The road that goes down to the river is encroached by vegetation, bushes, and so on. It is minimally disturbed.
Oops, you went on mute again.
Sorry. Do I have you?
Yes, you were minimally disturbed was your last sentence.
This area, the town of Needham's been around since 1681. That area has been minimally disturbed for hundreds of years. And it is used now. It's used to good effect by residents. There are other larger boat areas in Needham, and indeed, there's a very large one right across 95. So within 2 miles, less than 2 miles, if you wanted to take a trailer with a boat down to, you could do it. It's not necessary. It's unnecessary. And clearly, if hardscape is developed by the river, if there's a concrete launch or road, there will be greater erosion. It is at the bend, as the gentleman before mentioned, at a high flow area. That's just the worst area to put hardscape by a river, especially when it's unnecessary.
Thank you. I see that Tony Delgazo has his hand up, so if you want to speak, I know there's one other, I believe, resident or somebody in the audience that also wants to speak. But Tony, if you would like to speak, you have the floor.
Thank you, Janet. I just wanted to indicate or make a few observations. First of all, in this plan, we are proposing to place a sign. The sign is shown in the existing landscape island, which is near South Street. that we were planning on enhancing with some additional bushes and landscape materials. That would indicate that this is a boat launch area. The size of the parking lot, right now, it could accommodate, I think, 4 or 5 cars fairly conveniently. The proposal is to maintain that at 4 to 5 cars. So it's.
Oops, we can't hear you for some reason. Oh, you're gone. Is he gone? Oh, you're back. Tony, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, I lost my connection.
Yeah.
What was the
Okay,
last
so
thing that you
that you're keeping the 4 to 5 cars in the parking lot.
Right. And the third comment is that the existing parking area and pathway that goes down to the river, it is gravel, it's exposed earth. It does erode. The parking area erodes, the pathway down the river erodes. The erosion is most prevalent down closest to the river's edge. The proposal is to actually put in a stone chip surface with sub-drainage under it. This is needed because we have to comply with the stormwater regulations. So the proposal would actually make the area comply with the current requirements. We would have to do that if we were to touch this area for whatever reason, to upgrade it or whatever. So that's necessarily included. As far as the concrete ramp down at the bottom, which is where the most erosion is occurring because the water level in the Charles River goes up and down, that's why the concrete area is proposed. It does have a foundation to it. So we were trying to resolve the the bottom of the ramp getting eroded. That's also the reason for the revetment on either side. Those are the comments that I thought should be added and considered by the commission.
Great, thank you very much. Clay, do we have anybody else in the audience?
Yes, there are 2 hands. One is Bob Stern, who had just been in, and I'm curious if I accidentally bumped him over before he was finished.
All right, bring him back. They don't get to stay. As soon as they finish talking, they're out. You're harsh.
This is a means of managing the number of people on the screen, I think.
Oh, okay. Mr. Stern, did you have more to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. I am not an expert on this, but these issues like the safety issue of getting a fire department down there for safety reasons. I mean, quite frankly, I do think that that's bootstrapping. The erosion issues with the concrete slab being protective. I am certainly no expert on this, but I will say is simply a reasonable man, a common man, that where I have seen by rivers large concrete slabs, yeah, right by the concrete slab, it does prevent some erosion, but on either side of it, where the water laps up, there's actually greater erosion. It alters the natural flow of the river, causing alterations to what human beings plant. It's very difficult for human beings to alter natural habitat and anticipate the changes that will occur to it. And I think a lot of times changes occur that no one anticipated or planned for because we haven't been around for 1 million years. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, one more hand up.
We actually now have 2 hands. The next person in order of raised hands is Carl Rubin, and I'll move them over now.
Mr. Rubin, when you can hear us and you want to unmute yourself, you have the floor. Please state your name for the record.
Hi, I am Carl Rubin of 19 Churchill Lane in Needham. I'm a resident who lives very close there. I live right off of Livingston Circle and actually, right across from where I drive out onto South Street is what we're talking about. I'm also chair of the Technology Advisory Board, so appreciate everyone's volunteering and time. I understand it. Just going to bring up a couple of short points. The trash issue is horrendous on South Street. When I first moved to this neighborhood over 25 years ago, there was a neighbor, an older man, went down every weekend and cleaned the whole area we're talking about up. He bought a trash barrel down and dragged it back up every weekend, full of trash. The neighborhood, most of the time we've lived here, was actually there weren't a lot of kids. And as the neighborhood turned over in the 2000s, we now have about 40 kids in the neighborhood, okay? Just right across the street. And they mostly are they're under the age of 20 and, haven't seen problems, but just mentioning that there's a ton of trash. The second thing is, has anyone who's on the board, has anyone actually canoed or kayaked in the river?
Yes.
Right there? Gone off there?
No, I haven't gone up there.
Okay. I've gone off there just a few times. The reason I don't like it is that a kayak drafts about 6 inches and you can barely make it 100 yards in each direction. Okay. You're pushing on sand. So I'm assuming there's going to be a dredging project along with this because you're not going to be able to do much. When you have to wait for it to be higher water than most of the time. If it hasn't had a big rainstorm, you're not bringing a canoe in there. Does everyone understand that? I mean, going up river, most of the time, you can't even go up anywhere. You can't get to underneath the bridge to Dedham. And I think it's kind of funny that, it's that low in water. And yeah, the traffic on South Street, it's bad enough having the bicycles and all that. And now you're going to add something else as an attraction. I don't want to sound like the people not in my backyard, but it's getting to sound like that. I don't mind it as it is. I just like it to be left alone. That's my point.
Thank you very much. Clay?
All right, we have one more, Linda Asher, and I'll bring them over now.
Linda Asher, when you can, or Mr. and Mrs. Asher, both Ashers, please state your name for the record and you have the floor.
Yep, this is Bob Asher. Thank you for this opportunity. I guess reiterating what Carl just said, the water along that access point varies very greatly over time. Sometimes it's high enough, you can go upriver. Sometimes it's low enough, you can't get upriver. When it's low, the access point is a muddy, muddy plain that you have to traverse with your kayak or canoe. So I don't understand why a concrete pad is considered a boat launch. We already have a boat launch. Boats are launched. Charles River Canoe and Kayak come with trailer full of boats and kayaks, and they make ample use of this area. I'm able to get in there with my kayak, whether the water is high or low. Are you asking us to jump off this concrete pad, or we have no need for a concrete pad to make use of a boat launch. The reason stated by the Park and Rec was to provide boat access, and we already have it. So I think it can be left as is. The path can be improved a little bit, but let's be careful what we do.
And if I can add, I don't know if I have to go on the record, Linda Asher, but
visibly from the river, why would you want to see all that concrete a low water level? I mean, that would be my only other question.
Thank you very much. Sue Berber, you have a comment?
I just, yeah, I raised my hand. As long as the public comments have been completed. I just had another question. Opening up that area like that, it just seems it would cause just it could open up a whole new area for greater flooding in that area. You know, with vegetation taken away and a 12-foot road and the concrete ramp, and it just seems like it's offering a great area for flooding when the Charles River gets high. That's all.
I guess I can address that comment. This project results in a net cut. So it absolutely is within the floodplain. However, to make the pathway more accessible, the grades are reduced all the way up from the edge of the river to the parking lot elevation. So there's a cut at each 1 foot interval. And I can't tell exactly what interval, but it's plus or minus elevation 95. So that it will actually, at a micro scale, although it seems, you know, in my opinion, fairly ridiculous to say, it will improve flooding. But, you know, it's 70 cubic feet against the Charles River. You're not going to see an improvement, but I don't think it's going to negatively impact flooding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else with their hands up, Clay?
Just in the panelist side, Chris has a hand up. Nobody else from the
Okay.
audience.
Chris, you're
Janet, thank you very much. Just one last thing I'd like to quickly address that I know that was brought up with all the comments, and I appreciate all of them. And I most appreciate the people that help pick up the trash. I know that Park and Rec and DPW and the select board, we have made this one of our goals that we know it's always going to be a constant problem. There's no simple fix to make trash go away, but we are looking at every single possibility of all the fields and all the areas that the Park and Rec oversees of ways that we can combat the trash issue. We are coming up with some pilot programs that we are thinking about adding extra barrels at some of the heavier use areas. Some of those, what are those electronic bins, like the big bellies, to see if those work in certain areas. But we're also trying areas that we're actually taking bins away that we can actually have the carry in, carry out policy. Ideally, we try and, you know, and throw all that with all of our sports groups and user groups that go to the fields to use that carry in, carry out. But when you have outside, you know, organizations coming in, sometimes they just don't know the rules. But I mean, in regards to trash, we are always looking for means to make it better, to make it more eye appealing. And again, I can't appreciate more people going out and helping out the community, picking up the trash. I know that I'm out with the DPW director many times during the week picking up trash, just because it's something that we need to do better.
Thank you. Thank you. I have thought a lot of times about which would be better for the trash, put the more cans or take them away. So it's interesting that you're trying lots of options. Allison, did you had a comment?
Wanted to say, as maybe one of the older people here, that in the 50s, when I was in public school, we were taught by our teachers very seriously not to litter and what it did to the environment. And it was regularly taught, and every year. And I think that that's something that it's not just the barrels, it's got to be in your head.
Yeah, I remember those commercials as a kid. They were pretty striking. Any additional comments from anybody in the board, anybody in the audience, the applicant? Artie?
Just to restate some of the things I've already said, just to put it more in there, and that is, you know, leave no trace behind. That's what's taught in hiking. We should probably teach that more related in our town ourselves. We seem to think that we're, you know, when we're entitled, I use the word entitled, I don't mean in a bad way, that we should always have trash bins around because there's always going to be someone to pick it up. You know, that's really not always the case. And certainly there are plenty of places in town we shouldn't have trash bins, and this is certainly one of them. And we reacted pretty strongly about that last time. I believe that this is not one of them. I initially was thinking, oh, it'd be nice to have a picnic table up near the parking lot, and maybe it would. But that just means, should a trash barrel be there? Are people going to leave trash there? Is it really needed? Can we just leave it alone and people do their thing, what they've been doing for years and years and years and years? Is all we really need is just something to help maintain the existing path going down there, just to maintain it. So to reduce or to slow the erosion, stop the erosion. Is that all we really need? Do we need anything beyond that? Just something, a sign. Here's a sign so other people know it's there, not just the people in the know or in the loop, and then just stop and just something to stop the erosion. But if we start doing something, are we going to have to, are we going to be required to do more than what we really want to do, that we'd like to do? So that's my concern. Can we minimize it to stop the erosion? Or are we going to open the can of worms, then we have to do too much? So that's where I'm at.
Thank you. Anybody else? So I think at this stage, I don't know that we need more information unless the applicant would like to go back and present something different to us,
I mean, if I publicly ask Chris, is this something that we want to have a conversation tomorrow or later on the week, if we want to consider alternatives, or if we want to just put this project on hold for some period of time?
I would like to have a future conversation if that's possible. I mean, there was a lot of good dialogue going on tonight. I would love to see if we can have a future conversation about this and possibly come back in front of the Conservation Committee with any new ideas or updates that we can do.
So would you like us to keep this open until maybe a date uncertain? So I guess the options are, if we keep it open to a date uncertain, when that date is determined, you will need to notify whoever you notified this time.
Sure.
If we keep it to a date that is said, and we say have a date, and it could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be just a date that we say, then you, and maybe somebody, if I'm saying it wrong, let me know. Then you do not re-notify. We just have it again in whatever that date may be.
I'm happy to continue this to the next hearing in 2 weeks, and then just be very short, or maybe just send an email. That way we can have a conversation offline with the committee, and then either just continue it and we will represent at that period of time, or continue to a hearing a month out. And then from, depending on our conversation, we could either pick a date, a year to keep it open. But either way, I think, we all understood and heard both the public and the commission's comments that it'll be a significant revision to the application. So it would almost in itself be a new application, in my opinion. It may be easier.
Okay,
quite
so
honestly.
so then you could withdraw this one, I assume. I think that's one of the options that I'm not always good with the paperwork part. Tony
does have
Delgado,
his,
did you have another comment, Tony?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I think continuing this to the next meeting is too soon. I would suggest that we continue it until a meeting in December.
Okay, thank you very much. Is that okay with all?
Yeah,
So what is our schedule for December? Deb or Clay, or who knows?
We have a meeting scheduled for December 2nd and December 16th.
December
Thank you,
2nd
Clay.
or December 16th? Have a
I would
preference?
suggest December 16th.
All right. So can I have a motion to continue South Street and Dedham Ave boat access DP file number 2348878 till December 16th?
So moved.
A second.
All in favor? Bill?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everybody in the audience who participated. Is there anything else we need to go into executive session? But if there's anybody in the audience that had a comment or question that would like to be raised, Paul from Field Resources, oh no, that's just my hand. Sorry, not your hand.
We
Do
also,
you need to open the South Streets to continue those as well, Janet?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so 631 South Street, DP file number 234872 has asked to continue just to the next hearing in November. Is that what they asked for?
yeah, November 18th.
Okay, then we need a motion to continue 631 South Street, DP file number 234872, as well as 649 South Street, DP file number 234874 till November 18th.
So moved.
A second.
All in favor? Bill,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
yeah, aye. Okay, was that official? Anything else that we have to officially do before we go into executive session?
Clay did send out a set of minutes. He did get comments back from Sue. I think that everything was fine with her.
Look great, as usual.
Okay, so we can have a motion to approve the executive, and the minutes from June 24th, 2021.
I approve, I motion that we approve the minutes from June 20th, 2021,
24.
June 24th.
June 24th, 2021.
So
Did
moved.
we have a second for that?
I second.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Can we just kind of Bill, Stephen, Artie,
Aye.
Allison, Sue? Aye, aye, thank you. Okay,
One
so.
more thing.
One more
Last thing. Elisa, I believe, circulated the potential meeting calendar for next year. So we only have one meeting in November. So if everyone could take a look and see if they have any conflicts or issues, so that hopefully we can vote to accept the calendar in November.
And you called out this school vacation week, February 24th. I don't know if anybody has a conflict for that.
So anyways, take a look at it in your leisure and then.
Okay, we don't have to.
No, we'll,
Okay.
as long as we get it done next month, we should be okay.
Okay.
I have a conflict. It all says Zoom.
Oh.
No way. I'm not voting on that.
Okay, well, we don't have the vote tonight, so that's okay.
Okay, other than that, I'm done.
Paul or Diane, do you have any questions or comments?
We did want to just see if the board was going to address the letter that we had sent in with regard to, it's happened a couple times in town where early plans of ours get used inappropriately, and some would say it should be pretty plain that that's the case when people are drawing on the plans that are signed by a licensed professional, and the degree in which that's inappropriate. I don't know that, the average layperson may not realize how, wrong they are in doing that, because, we all don't know what we are outside of our realm. But, members of the board are licensed individuals, and we don't need to beat the dead horse on that aspect, but we've had to have other departments be contacted by legal counsel because of the fact that people fraudulently use our work, and then boards who theoretically should know better act on it as though it were the work of a licensed professional. And that's,
Yeah.
And just as a matter of now it's out in the public as far as, we need to not do that.
Yeah, yeah, and we really appreciate that you brought that to our attention, because that is not our intent. Actually, I have asked, and I don't know if it will occur, but I've asked MACC to talk about that at their next conference, which isn't until the spring, but as a workshop to kind of talk about the appropriateness of plans and stamped plans and when somebody can use that. Because my question was, if somebody receives an order of conditions and a certificate of compliance with an as-built plan that has a stamp on it, and then they take that plan and draw a patio on it, but the stamp is not shown, is that?
It would seem that falls in the massive gray area. But the thing that I think is the bigger issue, and I think you're absolutely right pointing out one of the areas that you go, boy, say I buy my house and I want to do some planning. I go down to the local building inspector and I get the prior plan first, right? To get an idea of what people have said in the past. And I might do some stuff and I might come talk to the Conservation Commission with my patio idea on that plan, right? However, that's one thing. What happens that gets to be, I think, where we start to dance into a little bit of what I call hot water is when, as a matter of an order of conditions, you're compelled to provide a document signed by a licensed professional, be it a PE, PLS, or landscape architect. Some of these, I mean, and if it's supposed to be signed by an aerospace engineer, that's who should be signing it and preparing it. That's all I'm saying. I mean, ultimately, we see all the time people, I mean, I see enforcement orders, whether it be in Needham or in other towns where somebody dug a trench and they shouldn't have because they didn't know better. They're just John Q. Public. And then they come in, they sketch how they're going to fix it, plant these 5 bushes or whatever. And, certainly certain things don't need, a licensed professional to correct.
Right.
It's just when you guys have drawn a line in the sand and said, this you need to do. I mean, I kind of take that seriously when you guys tell us we need to do it, right?
Yes.
And we make sure that we beat the stick on our clients that they need.
Yes, and we do appreciate that, and I think we all hear that.
I certainly don't insinuate that there was any nefariety or nobody was doing anything like shady with intent. It was just like, hey, this is, so let's try and make sure that we have a system that doesn't allow us to get into that situation.
I 100% agree with you. And
can I just bring up one thing? Or so if we're specifically talking about
I mean, there is a particular instance.
The certificate of compliance that we were issuing.
Right, because what happened
we said that we would issue it upon receipt of
a larger scale plan.
And we told them we had to submit it.
It does say that he, in fact, when we did the as-built, it did comply and all that stuff. This just became what seemed to be like, hey, that survey record card that goes to the building department that just says, this is the person who built it, this is the person who owns it, and this is the surveyor who stamped it. It's the only thing that the survey record card says. And if that's the letter sufficient for a certificate of compliance, then we'd be happy to just provide you that from now on. I know that's not. You want us to say, oh, the patio was 1 inch too close here. It was 8 square feet smaller than they proposed. There was supposed to be lawn here, now it's bushes, or there was supposed to be a tree there, now it's whatever. Because, they never do exactly what they thought. There was a rock here that they didn't realize or what have you. And
yeah, we on this one, we were insistent that they provided the plan. And we said it, it had to be a plan. We said it didn't have to be from the original
Right.
surveyor, but it had to be a stamped plan, and we were waiting for that.
Yeah, and I mean, it just gave an opportunity to have a chat. I mean, it's really more so that. with
Yeah,
this-
yeah. And we appreciate it, and we will be paying attention, and we definitely hear you. And I'm glad that you brought it to our attention, because we do need to be cautious.
Well,
I think
because
all
I mean,
our
this client
professionals are
actually
protecting each
did a
other.
good job. This particular person did a good job, and they weren't trying to hide anything. You know what I mean, in their submission. Well, I mean, as far as I know, but well, my understanding, we've been to the site, we did an as-built, they did do everything they said they were gonna do. It was all done correctly within substantial compliance, blah, blah, blah. However, that's not always gonna be the case with people who are gonna try and slip one by you guys.
Right,
Because you
right,
are the board
well-
people are gonna try and lie to, right?
We are conscious of when people say, do we really need that? And I'm like, yeah, you really need it. And so it is always a question when they argue the point a lot, like, that's the deal.
Especially since they just had one done for the building department. I mean, that's the funny thing. It's not even.
Yeah,
like
it's
there's a
like,
bunch of extra
just
work.
have it, just,
Here's your
and
little
it
piece
was
of
like,
paper.
good, yeah, just go get us the whole plan. I mean, you did it, just go print it up. It was like an hour assignment. Like, just go ask them, they'll print it for you, they'll stamp it, and you'll give it to us. It's easy. So that's what we expected, that it was gonna be easy for them to get it, because they had showed it was all there, and they just needed to go back to you and ask for it. So I was confused when he was anxious about that piece.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Again, I do, well, I'll cut it short, but again, I do appreciate you respecting that. And again, our big concern is because we had this happen with another board, and somebody used our plan and put something in the wrong place that didn't conform. And it was a potential for liability and a lawsuit. So again, we're a little sensitive to it, and just so you know where we're coming from. It was some thermal wells, they're not cheap to put in, and they were put in violation. And luckily the state agreed, because they were a closed circuit, that they could put them where they're not supposed to put them for a well. So again, we're just a little sensitive to it, and the fact that the survey record card was accepted for the surveyor certificate, again, a misuse. Again, just it just inappropriately, that's all. And the homeowner didn't know. So we're just hoping that we can count on you to protect the stamp, as we all have. Okay, well, thank you again. I know it's a long evening.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Okay, so now we go into executive session. What do we do? We all
Yeah, so we
close out of this-
sign-
oh, do we have to adjourn this hearing and then we go into the next hearing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we need a motion to adjourn, and then we all go to our email and we click on the next one.
I don't think it's a motion to adjourn. There should be language that states it's a motion to go into executive session. And in that motion, it should be noted that we will not be returning to open session for the remainder of the meeting. So it kind of defers the adjournment, but makes sure aware that we're not coming back to an open session tonight.
So moved.
I think it needs to be official, though, in order for it to really.
I make a motion that we go into executive session, and we will not be coming out of executive session and go into regular session again. We'll be closing after that.
Second.
All in favor? Bill?
Aye. Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Artie?
Aye.
And aye. Great, thank you very much.
Yep,
I'll
yep, in a few
see you
minutes.
in a minute. Bye.
Aye.